What's going on, everyone? Today we're going to check out, do a little unboxing of this guy here. This is the starter kit for the Raspberry Pi 4 from Labs, whatever. Anyways, their website is right there. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to check out this kit and see what kind of fun we can find in here. Just get that out of the way here. So this is the Raspberry Pi 4GB model. In this box, I'm going to be upgrading my Raspberry Pi. That is right there. And that is the 2GB model. I thought I'd buy a kit just because I was missing a couple cables. And it came with another power supply. So why wouldn't you, right? So let's go ahead. We're going to just go to the back side here. We're just going to cut open the tabs here. See what we got inside here. Alright. So right on top here, we are presented with the Raspberry Pi Model B with the 4 gigs of RAM. And even though I didn't buy it from Newark, you know what? It's still got the branding on the back there. Let me see if I can get in on that. There you go. element14.com/Raspberry Pi. So awesome. Alright, let's open this up. We're just going to unbox everything out of here first, and then we'll take a closer look at it here. Nice little piece of foam here that someone had fun cutting out. Alright, get rid of some of that. Free 6-month warranty card here. Donate to the Love campaign. Alright, a little UNICEF thing here. Alright, let's go further in. So, let's start with the power. So right off the bat, we've got this this power cable here, and it does have a on and off switch here. And let's just have a look here. This is 5 volt 3 amp wall wart, so that's great. I like seeing this form factor as well because it'll fit on my my power supply that I have over behind the speaker over here a lot better. So that's good. So that's a nice little power cable. And then we have like, where's the rest of it? Alright, so we've got one micro HDMI to HDMI cable here. It's great. Then we have the case for the Raspberry Pi to go into. And I'll just show you this real quickly here, and I'll be right back because my furnace just kicked on and it's going to be a little loud. So there we go, we got some screws in there. It's a nice little case. It's got little rubber feet on the back here. That's not too bad. We've got everything nicely labeled on it. Yeah, that's a pretty closed box. Oh, this is awesome. Look at that. Look at that. So if we decided that we wanted to install our camera module on the top case here, we would actually be even able to mount it on a tripod. So now that we have the screw mount on the bottom here, yeah, we should be able to mount it on a tripod and use an external battery supply, and maybe we'll try that out at some point and make some cool projects with the camera module. That might be fun to do as well here. So I think that goes like that. There we go. So nice case. I was not expecting that much, and has a little fan, cold air intake on the bottom here. Everything. So we got 4 screws for the motherboard and 4 screws for the fan here, and I think the camera module just pops in here, which we'll definitely take a look at later, maybe in another video, because I do have it in my cupboard there. I just don't want to crack it out quite a second. But definitely cool. Actually, you know what, I probably will install it, just because then it's all done, it's all ready to go for me when I want to do some projects. We'll see, I don't know, we'll figure it out. And then we have a second HDMI cable in here. This is why I originally bought this kit, because these cables are priceless. Yeah, you could buy them separate, but I needed to upgrade my Raspberry Pi anyways, but this kit had a bunch of extra stuff in it that I was like, you know what, it was on sale. I got a coupon on it on Amazon, so it was a little bit cheaper, and I decided to go for it. So 2 HDMI cables, so I can now have another monitor hooked up to it, so that's going to be great. And then what else do we have in here? So there's this quick start guide here that comes in it. I'm not sure if it's going to be of any use. Yeah, so that's not too bad. It kind of gives you the rundown, your basics of getting started. Cool. Nice little quick start guide. And then in the box here we still have a few things. We have a 64 gig micro SD card. We've got the little 5-volt fan, so that's nice to see that they actually put a 5-volt fan in the kit instead of some of the ones that I've seen where they actually decide to put the 12-volt fan in a kit. What else we got here? We got the little screwdriver here, so that way we can put those screws in. We got some heat sinks here. We've got 3 of them in here, one for the CPU, one for the GPU, and I do believe one for the RAM chip. And then we've got this little guy here, Type-C card reader. So there we go. That's different. I don't have a USB Type-C card reader. Alright, that's cool. Good to have on hand. I'm pretty sure I might need it at one point or another here. But cool. So that is the kit. I'll just go ahead and open up the Raspberry Pi here as well, just because. Yeah, we'll just open it up. We'll open it up. There it is. There she be. So it looks exactly like my 2 GB version. It's just 4 gig version. So yeah, that's it. We've got the board, and then the little card in here, and the user manual. So yeah, there's that stuff. So sometimes these kits, you can get a really good deal on it. And yeah, so the Raspberry Pi 4 4 GB kit. I forget what I paid for it. I'll post it in the comments below of the seller I bought it from as well. It came really quick, so I'm quite happy with that. They do prime shipping on it, so that is great. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna get this guy into the case here and get it ready to be replaced with my other one here. Oh, this sucks because I really want to use this with the camera module, but I want it for my desktop, so I might have to do something different. Or you know what, we'll just, yeah, I'll just go ahead and get it all installed in here, and then we'll come back and we'll take a look at the temps on it, see what kind of fun we got. So be right back. Okay, so just a quick look. I do have it all connected now. The fan is hooked up. The only thing I noticed they didn't show in the book or the getting started guide is where to plug your fan into. Now, if you've had a Raspberry Pi before, you know that your 5 volts here, and right across it is your 3 volt line. So it would have been nice to have these on its own, them on their own little pigtails or whatever, so that way you could actually choose whether you want to run on 3 or 5 volt, because sometimes the fans, even on the one I have running on my 2 gig model, it gets pretty loud at times. So it is nice to be able to tone it down when you're at an idle temperature. So right now my Pi 4 2 GB model is on an idle desktop. It's around 29 to 30 degrees Celsius with basically 0 to 1% CPU usage, so nothing really going on there. So I thought I'd do a check on that and see what this case here will produce. Now they do end up putting some extra screws in there for you, so that's good. Also, make sure that when you do put your board in, that the case is actually lined up properly. If your screw holes are not lined up, you will know. Play with it until they get lined up properly. That way everything will fit in when it comes to your connections on the side, or your HDMI, or your USB Type-C here. I was looking at some reviews prior to this, and it was just a lot of user error when it came down to setting up the Pi in this case. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to go ahead, I'm going to put this all together here, and like that. Have one more quick little look around it. So as you can see, all the ports are showing properly. When I plug in the USB Type-C, it is actually connecting in there and locking into place. That was one of the complaints I heard about. Now, I wish there was a plug or something that we could plug this with. I guess it doesn't really matter, but to me, I'll just probably put the camera module in there in the near future here. On the back here, the USB ports and everything line up for the most part. Yeah, it's not like the best looking, but and I can definitely see why some people have filed down the sides and parts like that. I might have to see what's going on there. That looks like it's a little bit too high in there on my Ethernet port there. It looks like it needs to come down a bit on that side there. So, but for right at the moment here, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to unplug my other unit here and get this guy on. I'm just going to take the SD card, micro SD card out of it and put it in here. Boot up, see what kind of idle temps I get, and see if I like this case or not. So I don't think this case is going to work for me just based on the temperatures I'm seeing on idle. I'm sitting about 38 to 37 degrees Celsius under an idle load. I've been running it for about 20 minutes or so just to see what it would kind of do, and that's kind of where it wants to stay at idle. So to me, that's not good enough. I want that down, back down to that 29, 30. So I want, you know, to knock that extra 7 or 8 degrees off of my temperatures. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna just put it all into my old case here that I made out of an old Pi 3 case. And as you can see, it is nothing special. It's just cut up and has the fan mounted there. This fan was from a GameCube, so it works really well. And I did have to trim a few of the pins to get it to fit properly in here on the GPIO, but I wasn't using it for the GPIO. I should have just desoldered it, but I didn't. So unfortunately, that's too bad. But I have, maybe I'll put this board into that case and try something with the camera module in there. A little dirty in there, my fan. Get it all cleaned up. On this one, I do not have any heat sinks or anything on it, so for me to get those kind of temperatures is pretty darn good. But I don't know if you can see in there, it is pretty close to the CPU there, and keeps this case pretty cool. And it could be because I do have more ventilation around the edges here, just to force some of that heat out. But that case over there really doesn't have any ventilation besides the top, so you're actually pulling air up and out, not in and out anywhere. So even on the sides here, we got a little bit of venting. That one, no vent holes. So it's exhaust out only, where this is an intake fan. Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to get that put in here and see if I can get that to drop down a few more degrees. So remember how I said I hacked up my board? As you can see here, this is that 2 GB model. And yeah, to make that fan fit, I should have probably just done what I'm doing right now, but I didn't. I was just pretty excited and wanted to get it running. So if you look here, I now have the 4 GB model running over here. And I decided, instead of having the exhaust or the intake fan going inside the case, I just said forget it, I'm going to put it on top. Because what I'm going to eventually do here is I do have a little fan filter that I'm going to put on top of that there, so that way it will actually collect the dust instead of spitting it all over my Raspberry Pi board. Because I do run this board all the time, 24/7, and almost 365 days. I think it's on day 200 of it running, or somewhere in that ballpark. So when it comes to this case here, you know, I do like it. It is a nice case. It's, to me, I don't know. I think I might... No, that's right. That would be going inwards. Maybe that's what the problem is. Maybe I have the fan the wrong way. Maybe I'll play around with that with this guy here and see if I can't do something a little bit different with that. I have no heat sinks on this guy here, and didn't before, and I was curious to see if those would really make much of a difference. And honestly, I'm running 27, 28 degrees now, and it does dip down to about 26 on an idle temp. And you know, so sometimes it'll hit, you know, 29, but all in all, you are gonna see a little bit of a difference in the temperature by just having those heat sinks on there. So now I'm curious to see what this guy would do with this setup and what kind of temperatures are there. Anyways, that's my little video on this kit here by these guys here. All in all, it's a great kit. I love all the accessories with it. The power cable's great. HDMI cables work great. What else did I use that was in there? Yeah, the micro SD card that came in it, I haven't used. I just plugged all my old stuff in, so I'll use that on this one. Maybe I'll make a little, I don't know, maybe I'll upgrade my Pi-Cade or something with that, but I'll have to remove these pins and put a new set on there so my Pi-Mori hats can go on there. Anyways, that's it for me. Thank you for watching, everyone. You have a wonderful day, a wonderful week, and we'll see you next time. Take care, eh?